People, good day to everyone. Today we're gonna check a new DLC, Lex Imperialis. So I'm under embargo, so this video will be released on 24th June. And we're gonna also play and stream this game, or should I say, we're gonna get the new content out. But what's this video about? About the new archetype and about the new class. I'm gonna give you few builds for the upcoming archetype in Lex Imperialis. So I'll give you melee and ranged version of the new archetype. So let's not waste time and let's pass through the entire analysis of the new archetype. Let's go. So the new class for DLC Lex Imperialis is called the Arbitrator. Let's see what he does. Proficient in shotguns, cause there was no class that's proficient enough with shotguns. Now we have, should I say, an origin that's proficient with shotguns. Not only that you're proficient with shotguns, you can also parry incoming attacks with a shotgun, believe it or not. And of course, playing with a shotgun also means you're gonna reduce armor of enemies that you hit with a shotgun with armor piercing. For the reaction during enemy's turn when you can shoot at them, Law and Order is the way to go, but you will need to scale with willpower, which I don't recommend, and I'll explain why later on. This class heavily scales out of coercion, and you're gonna need ballistics instead of willpower to actually hit something, yeah, especially if you play on harder difficulties. Now we also have a tank class of Arbitrator if you plan to go in as a melee, where toughness provides half of the shield block. Extremely useful when you want to play as a tank. So you got melee option, ranged option, tanky option. Specification procedures is the grenades. They don't cost action points, but they don't deal damage, which means supportive grenades. Now, if you decide to play Arbitrator as a Psyker, then public sentencing is the way to go, because it heavily scales with willpower. Mob justice seems like the best option for unfair. Why? Because it scales with coercion, and allies around you, 3 cells around you, will get insane amount of damage percentage increase. So this is one of the best talents on Arbitrator, especially if you play as an officer or as a soldier. As far as prepared prosecution goes, the only valid way is when you play Arbitrator as a full tank, and then you're gonna take a full tank option, okay, with shield and toughness into shield, and you're gonna take prepared prosecution to spawn on a tile where enemy stands, okay, so you can burst out someone fast, isolate, and so on. Blinding purpose resists immunities, great on a tank. On ranged, so and so. On Psyker, there is no need to do it. Pillar of the Law talent on Arbitrator is how Arbitrator scales heavily from coercion and willpower bonus. So what we're gonna have here is usefulness on every single type of Arbitrator, whether it's gonna be soldier, Psyker, officer. No matter what you play, you gotta learn this talent. At the end, we got the Steady Hand of Justice, which would be for a melee Arbitrator with a shock baton. Okay, so only when you play as melee you can consider taking the Steady Hand of Justice. The Arbitrator comes with 3 different subclasses, which would be Vigilant, Castigator, and Subductor. Vigilant would be a shotgun Arbitrator. Okay, so if you plan to play with a shotgun, or if you plan to play as a Psyker, but you start with a sniper rifle in Prologue and Act 1, then you're gonna pick Vigilant. Castigator, this is very simple. You can go as a Psyker, and best to go as an officer if you plan to play as a Castigator. Subductor would be a melee Arbitrator. You can go as a warrior or you can go as a blade dancer. As far as the operative goes, he can profit out of Castigator as well. Now for the triumph, squishes will take Apex of Brilliance or Illustrious Glory, while Feat of Greatness goes to melee Arbitrators. That's about it. Pick whatever you like out of these. For the Darkest Hour, it really doesn't matter. just make sure that you pick something that you won't use. And I would say as an arbitrator, you won't use carouse, you won't use commerce, and you won't use lore of warp. This is Cassia, this is Abelard, and this is Jaya Heydari or someone else. So this doesn't matter, pick whatever you like, you don't need this tree. Now, as I said, I explained what goes what with the Arbitrator. So, Warrior, Blade Dancer, into Overseer, into Exemplar would be melee. Officer, into Overseer, into Exemplar would be support. Operative, Psyker Operative, into Overseer, into Exemplar, that would be Arbitrator as well option. And to me, probably the best option and how you should play him is with a shotgun. Classic Soldier, into Overseer, into Exemplar. We're gonna cover multiple builds now, and I'll explain you what goes for what. Now, first, let's see the characteristics for the character creation. So if you plan to play as a melee, we're gonna need weapon skill, we're gonna need strength, we're gonna need toughness, and we're gonna need willpower. If you plan to play as an officer, we're gonna need huge fellowship. Okay, if you plan to play as Psyker or soldier, we're gonna need huge ballistics, huge agility, and huge willpower. Also perception when you are at range, so you can actually hit something, you gotta put some points into it as well. Yeah, and what remains is the Blade Dancer and the Warrior. That would be the same thing. Okay, weapon skill should be high, strength, toughness, agility. For the Blade Dancer, it's agility. For the Warrior, instead of agility, it's toughness. They both use high strength and high weapon skill. That's the entire difference in character creation. I hope I was clear enough. And now we're gonna check some specific builds for the Arbitrator. Let's go. Also, one last thing I wish to speak about would be the home world. I haven't covered the home world, so if you plan to play as melee, then you pick the Death World as an Arbitrator. If you plan to play as a Psyker, then you're gonna pick the Voidborn. If you plan to play as an officer, a ranged officer, okay, the officer that shoots and boosts allies, you're gonna play with High World. If you plan to play as an operative or tanky operative, doesn't matter if it's ranged or tanky, you're gonna take the Forge World. If you plan to play as a full officer, you're gonna take Imperial World, and the Fortress World would be for Psyker. That's about the home world for the Arbitrator. In the case of Soldier, Shotgun Arbitrator, we're gonna pick Fortress World. And of course we pick Arbitrator. And now we're gonna take Vigilant for the subclass. We pick a Soldier, and for the character creation as a Soldier, we need ballistics, we need agility, we need perception is already up there, we need a bit of willpower, and we can take extra agility, because the more dodge you have, the better. Yeah, for the final remaining points, we can also go into perception, and we go like 30, 45, 30, 30, 40, 30, 45, 40, 25. And that's about it. Very simple, okay, for the shotgun build. I already explained at the beginning of the video how you switch for the melee. Weapon skill instead of ballistics, strength instead of agility, agility for Blade Dancer, strength for the Warrior, okay? High willpower for the Psyker, that's about it. Very simple. All squishes need to max out agility, because you need dodge. Dodge saves your life. Leveling, Vigilant, Arbitrator, Shotgun build. We go into Soldier, straight into Overseer, and we end up with the Exemplar. For the Soldier part, we go with a Keystone feature, into Demolition, into Revel in Slaughter, then it's ulti, into Nimble for increased dodge. On the next level, we'll take in Ballistic skill, into Mob Justice talent, then we're straight up into Agility with Double Slug skill, then Ballistics, into Shotgun Mastery. Then we go to the Lawful Intervention, into Coercion, then we're gonna take Firearm Mastery upgrade number 1 for ulti. Then we're gonna learn Second Skin, so we can wear medium armor without penalties. Then we're gonna take Agility, then we learn Grisly Adjudication, another new skill for the Arbitrator. Then we're gonna take Coercion, into Perception, into Armor Piercing talent. then the point blank shot talent, then we're gonna go to the spare magazine into extra wounds with it will not die, then the demolition, and we end up with ulti upgrade number 3. That would be the soldier. Now we transfer to the new archetype Overseer. We have a mastiff here, then we're gonna take advanced tracking into rite of calibration, into overcharge, then action point power spike increase, into ballistic skills. Then we're taking side by side, and then we're gonna take ballistics again, into run, into coercion. Then here we take right of the solar nourishment, into agility, into common feature, swift movements, extra movement points. Then for the next talent we're taking resistance is futile, into agility, into coercion, into overcharge, in upgrade number 2. Then we're taking combat addict, into familiar kickback, straight up into perception and demolition. Here we're gonna take strategic adaptation skill, then we're gonna take brothers in arms, then never stop believing talent. After that it's perception into demolition. We end up with auto regeneration and pillar of the law, and at the end we take ulti upgrade number 4. And now we go straight into the exemplar. For the exemplar, of course, we open up with perfection under fire, into camaraderie, then we go to coercion, into automatic protection. Here we take ballistic, into prepared prosecution, then it's dash as a skill, into coercion, then we're gonna take know it all, into Maester's patronage, then we're taking ballistics, into demolition engineer, then we take growl, into agility. After that it's battle mode terror, into characteristic training ballistics, then we're gonna take demolition, into eager for battle. After that it's action point power spike increase, into fired up, into demolition, into unpredictable, then we take awareness, then perimeter defense with agility, perception and awareness, then we take flag bearer talent, into wreck and ruin talent, then we take dependable ally, into awareness, tenderize, into characteristic training perception, then final skill would be concentrated fire, into perception. We end up with pinpoint accuracy and victimize with action point power spike increase for the final boss fight. That would be a shotgun build. Now it's your choice whether you wanna dual wield shotguns or play with one shotgun only. That's entirely up to you. The only thing that you care about are shotguns, ballistics, agility. You want high dodge and you want high damage, AoE damage from your shotgun, and you want your pet, the dog, to be strong enough, so equip everyone well. As far as the other gear goes, anything that's gonna provide AoE damage is what you want to go for. This is a soldier arbitrator. Extremely powerful build and extremely fun to play. And now it's time for a tank, full tank arbitrator build. We go with warrior, overseer, into exemplar. Starting off with a warrior, classic keystone feature charge, into coercion, into endure, into daring breach ulti, then we take thick skin, into dueling mastery for parry, into toughness, into sword enemy skill, into coercion, then we're taking weapon skill, into the steady hand of justice talent, then we're gonna take athletics, into invigorating hatred. After that it's ulti upgrade number 1, into epicenter of slaughter, then we take toughness, into forceful strike, into shield mastery, because now we slowly prepare to play with a shield, into weapon skill, into athletics, then we're gonna take clenched teeth for the additional deflection, into carouse, into strength, we end up with it will not die, and ulti upgrade number 2. After that, we're taking the Overseer, new archetype, we take a Mastiff, then we're gonna take Bite for the skill. Autonomous Medkit is the talent we wanna learn, into Overcharge, into action point power spike increase, we ramp up Toughness, then Rite of the Solar Nourishment, into Toughness again, then we're gonna take Advanced Tracking, into Coercion. You want Coercion and Toughness as high as possible on this build. Then we're gonna take Dependable Ally, into Strength, into Heavy Armor Proficiency, and now it's time to equip Heavy Armor and become a full tank with a shield and Heavy Armor. Then we're gonna take Rite of Calibration, into Strength, into Coercion, ulti upgrade number 3, into Battle Mod Terror talent. Then we're gonna take Instant Retribution, into Strength, into Athletics. Then here we're taking Growl. Then we're gonna take Weakest Link, into Pillar of the Law, into Weapon Skill, Athletics, Arbitrator Physical Training, into Defensive Maneuver, and we finish up with ulti upgrade number 1. And for the final part, we're going to the Exemplar. Of course, we open up with Perfection Under Fire, with Prepared Prosecution talent. Then we're gonna take Coercion, into Victimize. Then we're taking Toughness, into Grenadier for free grenades. Then we're taking Skill, Taunting Scream, into Coercion. Then we're taking Invincibility, into Tenacity. This is a very big power spike, this too, as far as the tankiness goes. Then we're gonna take Toughness, into Hardened Scars. Then we're taking Run, into Strength. Then we're gonna learn Binding Purpose, with Characteristic Training into Toughness. Then we're gonna go with Athletics, into Toughest Steel, action point power spike increase. For the next level, it's Living Shield, into Athletics. Then we're gonna take Disarm, into Medicae. After that, it's Master's Patronage, Weapon Skill again, into Medicae, into Flesh Wounds, into Interception. Then we're taking Lifetime of Scars and Medicae. After that, it's Ramming Speed, into Characteristic Training Strength. Then we're taking Strategic Adaptation, into Weapon Skill, into Strong Hand with Defensive Stance. Now you're a complete tank, and the action point power spike increase. That would be a full sword and board, full freaking tank arbitrator. And now what we're gonna do is speak a bit about items. You want toughness, you want strength, and you want weapon skill on items for this type of arbitrator. And as far as the skills go, any item, okay, that has coercion, you want to equip it because this class scales heavily out of coercion. Of course, at the start of the game, you're in medium armor, mid-game, you equip heavy armor, shield, and you become a full tank, and you send your dog to kill your enemies, while you soak up the damage for your allies. As far as the melee weapon goes, as long as it's one-handed, and as long as it has huge damage, that's the one you want to equip and keep changing the more powerful versions you find along the way. The final build that I want to present to you is the Officer Arbitrator, or in this case, we're gonna have servo skulls as our pets. So, the progression goes Officer into new archetype Overseer into Exemplar. We start off with the Officer. Starting off with Voice of Command, into Coercion, into Bring It Down, into Finest Hour. Then we're gonna take the Decisive Response. After Decisive Response, we're gonna take Fellowship into Nimble. So we go seize the initiative into Fellowship, into move skill, into Binding Purpose. Then we're gonna take Watch Yourself into Coercion, ulti upgrade Finest Hour number 1. Then we're gonna take Persuasion into Ballistics, into Inspired Courage, into Ballistics. Then we're gonna take Care of Authority into Camaraderie, into Blood of Martyrs, into Persuasion. We finish off with Toughness, with It Will Not Die for extra wounds, and ulti upgrade number 3. Now, from the Officer, we go to the Overseer, where we're gonna take Servo Skulls. And what we're gonna learn now would be the advanced tracking into Symbiosis, into Overcharge, into Action Point Power Spike Increase, then we take Fellowship and Non-Stop Fellowship basically whenever it's available, with Unseen Support Talent, with Fellowship, and now we're gonna take Regeneration Signal into Coercion. Then we're taking Self-Learning Algorithms talent into Ballistic Skill and into Grenadier for free frags. Then we're gonna take Rite of Solar Nourishment into Perception into Coercion. For the ulti, we take Overcharge upgrade number 4. Then we're gonna take Emergency Stimulation into Weapon Personalization, into Ballistics, into Persuasion. Then we're gonna take Destruction Signal for the final skill, and now we go Rite of Calibration into Fresh Start, into Toughness, into Persuasion. For the final 2 points, we take Energy Mobilization and Swift Movements. And for the ulti upgrade, second upgrade, we're gonna take upgrade number 3. And we finish up with the Overseer. And now we go into the Exemplar. We open up with Eager for Battle as an officer. We need action points. Then we're gonna learn Focus into Coercion into Master's Patronage talent. Then we're gonna take Fellowship into Characteristic Training into Fellowship. So we max out Fellowship immediately. For the skill, we learn Get Back in a Fight with Coercion, then we're gonna take Perfection Under Fire, and we take Safe Shelter. After that, again, it's Fellowship into Commanding Voice, then we learn Priority Signal skill with Agility, then we're gonna take Side by Side into Helping Hand. After that, we're taking Persuasion into Firebrand. Action Point Power Spike Increase comes next with No Respite and Persuasion. Then we're gonna take Personal Oversight into Commerce, into Autonomous Medkit with Agility. Again, we take Agility, extra dodge. Then we're gonna take Commerce into Attention, into March, into Brothers in Arms, then Commerce into Wounds Are No Excuse, into Characteristic Training with Agility. Then we're gonna take Aim into Agility, then Eager Subordinates into Steady, and we finish up with Action Point Power Spike Increase, and that would be the Officer Arbitrator Overseer. What about the gear? The gear is very simple. You basically don't need a weapon. If you use a weapon, use a sniper, use something that can reach far away and stay behind all of your allies to buff them up. That also counts for your servo skulls. They're there to disrupt enemies and buff allies as well as are you as an officer. So basically now you're a double buffer. And for the gear, you wanna raise dodge as much as you can, and you wanna have huge fellowship. And that's about it basically. Fellowship, agility, ballistic, dodge. For the skills, of course, it's coercion, commerce, persuasion, you're good to go. What about items? Trinkets that gonna provide you with extra life, or should I say trinkets that gonna save you from area damage, from single target damage, you know, like avoid 3 attacks and so on, dodge the first 3 incoming attacks. Those are great trinkets. Also, as an officer, you wanna have initiative on items. So when you see initiative, all skills characteristics go up. When you see fellowship, when you see movement, when you see anything that gives additional benefits, when you give someone action points, that's the items that you want to equip on this officer. Very simple. I gave you like 1 million builds before for the officers, so use some of them if you really want to check items that you should equip on the officer. Nothing changes here, only this time you have a pet, and that's about it for the arbitrator. But the build doesn't change much, you're still there to support. Okay, now what should we do with itemization on all of those 3 builds? So melee, ranged shotgunner, and the officer. For melee, you want items that gonna give toughness, strength, move speed, deflection, heavy armor, good shield, and that's about it. It's very simple to play. For the shotgunner, you want huge ballistics, you want agility, you want something that can save your life. Okay, there are plenty of trinkets that can save your life, give you like immunity to ranged attacks, first 3 hits and so on, so you wanna be safe, yeah. And for the officer, again, same trinkets like for the one with the shotgun, and as far as the other stats go, you want high fellowship. As far as offensive stats go, for the shotgunner, you want AoE damage on items. For melee, of course, you want something that can debilitate enemies, or should I say that can weaken enemies. And for the officer, it really doesn't matter. All you need to do is stay behind and buff your allies. So you're the last one that's gonna go into fight. It's very important to stay alive as an officer, because you issue commands. Also, very important to say that initiative for the officer is the way to go. So when you see initiative on any item, that's what you wanna do, because you wanna play first, yeah. Anyways, those would be the 3 different builds for the new archetype in Warhammer 40K Rogue Trader DLC Lex Imperialis. Later on, I'll release more builds, but for now, I guess this is a good start for you today. If you decided to play Lex Imperialis, you can pick one out of these 3 builds and enjoy the game. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, share and subscribe, and I'll be seeing you on the next one. Thanks for watching.